right, it's 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call our meeting to order. We've got a very busy agenda this evening. So let's try to move through it efficiently. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. You might have heard the sirens. Our fire chief's not with tonight. There is a structure fire out of city limits near the county line east. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers as we enter our moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We had a much lighter agenda whenever we decided to postpone this, but the weather was pretty bad. And there was no television, so I would have just been reading to these 6 people. So
we were really looking forward to it.
Oh no, it's here.
It's been a long 3 weeks.
Sure it has. All right, it's an annual exercise. I will get through this as quickly as I can, but there's a lot of pages. This is our 2024 year in review, or otherwise known as the 2025 State of the City Address. So, good evening. Members of City Council, department directors, administration, staff, business owners, and residents of our city of Buckhannon, thank you for joining us as we highlight the many projects and accomplishments we've celebrated together over the past year and share excitement for our city in 2025. First tonight, and all are here, which is a good thing. Although this address is mostly a look back over the previous year, we have a rare occurrence in our city as we celebrate 4 new department directors and superintendents. And they're all with us this evening. We officially extend congratulations to Croston. I had fire department on the brain. Croston, I'll fix that. Our Public Works Director, Dakota Arnold, our Waste Department Superintendent, Cody Tenney, our Sanitary Department Superintendent, and Tommy Rollinson, our Water Department Superintendent. Gentlemen, would you please stand and be recognized by the council? Each brings a wealth of knowledge to their position, and we are excited to work with each as they lead in their own styles and work to continue the mission of providing the best public services of any city in the state. So gentlemen, thank you, and we welcome you aboard. We're happy to have you. We would be remiss if we didn't take a moment to congratulate and sincerely thank Jerry Arnold, our retiring Public Works Director. Jerry, like many who have built careers at the city of Buckhannon, dedicated his life from just out of high school through now to our community. So much of what we enjoy today was either built or overseen by Jerry. He has been an invaluable asset to this city. We will miss him, but we wish him a happy and healthy retirement. An organization-wide celebration of his retirement is planned for April. We also extend sincere gratitude to Jerry's brother, Kelly Arnold, our soon-to-be retiring water superintendent. Much like his brother, Kelly also dedicated his professional life to the betterment of the city's utilities. Our healthy, clear, and great-tasting water is largely thanks to his leadership and care over our system. We will miss him too when he leaves us later this summer. Now let's start taking a look back. 2024 proved to be another successful year for our city. We welcomed more new businesses to town, including the Mystic Merchant, Renew You Spa, should say, Diamond Dealers, Zen Leaf, Condi Dental, Country Blooms, and my very own The Squire on Main. We also saw significant expansions by St. Joseph's Hospital, Community Care of West Virginia, Citizens Bank of West Virginia, First Community Bank, High Point Construction, Argo Books, Fishhawk Acres, Sheets, Micrologic, Lynx, West Virginia, Edward Jones, Fortify Wealth Management, Foster's Marketing Group, Parmar Stores, Corehart Refractories, Warehouser, and Windlings Food Service, all adding more job opportunities, which further proves that Upshur County is a great place to live, work, and invest. Building on that positive momentum from our business community, for the first time in our city's history, we embarked on a comprehensive, aggressive public park facilities improvement plan, with all 7 of our city parks receiving a facelift. Our all-volunteer Parks and Recreation Board has been busy working with our city's public works departments to create beautiful and functional parks for everyone to enjoy. Our first project was the City Park on Park Street. So far, we've resurfaced the roadways, expanded and resurfaced our basketball court to being a full regulation-sized court, replaced fencing, renovated 2 of our 3 pavilions, repaired playground equipment, and added pickleball courts. Yes, the ever-loving pickleball courts. Still to come, we will finish the pickleball courts, add an accessible pavilion near the parking area, and add additional lighting. We hope to have all this work completed at the City Park by April 30th as we officially open our parks for the season, always on May 1st each year. Following our work at the City Park, we'll begin renovation projects at North Buckhannon Riverfront Park, which we also will try to have completed by summer's end. I now want to provide some updates from several internal city departments highlighting accomplishments in the work that they've done and all the goals that have been met over the last year. First up is our fire department. Chief Kimball and our firefighters had another busy year, responding to 1,077 calls in 2024, down 43 calls from 2023, but most importantly, down 141 calls from 2022. One of our most forgotten about elements that takes its toll on first responders is mental and emotional distress that can be experienced. Think about this. A first responder in a small town often answers a call to an incident involving someone that they know personally. Witnessing a friend or family member or a loved one experience a traumatic event is extremely difficult. Across the nation, thousands of firefighters have lost their lives to suicide, stemming from mental health struggles unknown to their coworkers, families, or communities. Here in Buckhannon, we are taking a proactive approach to mental wellness by establishing a regional program partnering with agencies in Upshur, Lewis, and Randolph counties, aiming to provide resources to our first responders to seek help should they be in need. Much time has been spent again this year, both on the pursuit of gaining CFAI accreditation and on designing, developing, and completing the work of our new training facility out on Mudlick Road. We received a very generous gift from the Loudoun County, Virginia Fire Department, which was a flashover burn box for classes. This item will enhance our abilities to instruct at all levels from beginners to seasoned members. Under the leadership of Captain Baxa, our fire department and city have now hosted 3 Country Roads Fire Conferences at our Brushy Fork Event Center, held each January since 2023. Firefighters from all over the Southeast come to Buckhannon to learn from each other, share experiences and expertise, and enjoy everything that our community has to offer. This most recent conference, including many more local firefighters from here in Upshur County and across West Virginia than in years past. This event continues to pick up steam, putting Buckhannon on the map in many areas. Now to our city police department. The police department completed its 3rd year of CALIA accreditation. We're happy to report that we continue to have a near perfect score in the program, and the midterm audit pointed out the 0 issues. Chief Gregory and our officers are already preparing, though, for a full reaccreditation evaluation taking place this year. This process will see the police department undergo its 4th and final web assessment for this cycle in February, then move on to an on-site assessment in late March. This will culminate with a hearing before the CALIA Commission, where the past 4 years of the police department's accreditation efforts will be reviewed, and a decision to reaccredit the police department for the next 4-year cycle will be made. Our police department spent a good portion of 2024 training officers in instructor development, focusing on a wide array of areas of expertise. This enables officers to stay current on every level, our ever-evolving nature of law enforcement. Should have thought about that little tongue twister when I was writing it. All while keeping the instruction in-house. One of the highlights of 2024 was the partnership that the City of Buckhannon Police Department entered with First Choice Services. This partnership embedded a peer liaison with the Buckhannon Police Department in April of 2024 with a mission to assist individuals experiencing substance abuse disorder, homelessness, or behavioral issues with getting off the street and getting the necessary services needed. The police department's peer, Erica Bennett, hit the ground running and has had numerous success stories through 2024. In October of 2024, our VIPS program celebrated its 10-year anniversary. This was a commemoration of service of the numerous individuals who have given so freely of their time to assist the city of Buckhannon, its residents and its visitors with a wide range of activities, ranging from pre-planned events to assisting with emergency situations. VIPS is a tremendous asset to the police department and is an organization that continues to grow in our community. Our police department continues to be an active partner with West Virginia Wesleyan College. We host not only criminal justice students as interns, but also service scholars sponsored by the Office of Community Engagement. Specifically with the Service Scholar Program, the police department began a mentorship program where a senior student volunteer guides and mentors a freshman student volunteer as they assist the police department with a wide variety of administrative tasks, including but not limited to helping with managing our CALIA accreditation. Now on to our sanitary department. In 2024, the collection crews and city contractors completed projects begun in late 2023, which included over 5,000 feet of clay tile into a new PVC system. More projects in these upgrades included 1,100 feet on Shawnee Drive, 1,200 feet on Myrna Street, 1,200 feet on Taylor Street, which is part of a larger comprehensive project, 900 feet along North Locust Street and along Madison Street. Along Madison Street, services for vendors were also created around the newly constructed parking lot at East Lincoln and Madison Streets, and the stormwater system was upgraded on the property. This entire redevelopment should be completed in 2025. Major improvements to the wastewater treatment process were also completed with the installation of an automatic bar at the headworks of the plant. This, along with the changes to the treatment process, has resulted in a cleaner and more efficient, more effluent, did I say that right, being produced. A major stormwater project took place to complete the Ritchie Street stormwater collection system. This project upgraded an underutilized pipe, which created a bottleneck in the system. This was the seventh and final phase of the project, which began in the mid-2000s. In conjunction with the street department and water departments, the intersection realignment at Scott and Shawnee Drive was completed, and addition of stormwater facilities as well. We still have more work to do in that neighborhood. On to our water department. One of the great points of pride in our city is that we own our utility services. We collect waste, we provide high-quality drinking water, and we operate a wastewater treatment facility, all to best serve the citizens and business owners. We have continuously made necessary upgrades to our facilities, mostly completed by our own crews, all to squeeze every possible ounce of available life out of our plant, our trucks, pipes, and pieces of machinery. Our city's water treatment plant, located on Wood Street, was constructed back in the late 1950s through early 1960s. It has served us very well. Think about the growth and expansion and increased demand, as well as the everyday wear and tear on this facility. This plant, in its mid-60s age-wise, is now in its mid-60s age-wise, and has outlived its life expectancy. Again, thanks to our highly skilled water department crews. If not for them, we would have had to have constructed a new facility some 20 years ago, thus missing out on the additional years that we've been able to utilize in our current plant, saving our citizens money. So what does this mean exactly? Our city has begun the process working on replacing our current water treatment plant. Unfortunately, none of us enjoy talking about utility rate increases, but the likelihood of a series of stair-stepped water rate increases will be necessary to complete this project. With 96% of Upshur County residents and businesses relying on good, clean drinking water provided by the city of Buckhannon, this is a top priority as we continue to plan for our future. As for the work completed at our department this past year, we have continued to replace and upgrade water lines across the city. In addition to the new 6-inch water line on Thurman Avenue, we have also completed upgrades on Meade Street and Island Avenue. This is a drastic improvement to both the water service and the fire service. Chief Operator Kelly Arnold presented the Water Board with a comprehensive list throughout the city that required upgrades. We are tackling those most imperative needs first and working our way down the list. And I'm sure Tommy will continue working with us there. Streets, waste, and engineering departments. Jerry Arnold and Jay Holland have been busy, as usual, working through the long list of projects through the waste collection, streets, parks, sanitation, and water departments. Our waste department is working on an all-encompassing strategic plan that should be completed by spring of this year. Hint, hint. This will allow us to have a better understanding of our equipment needs as well as how to proceed with rating customers, both residential and commercial, and inside and outside of city limits. Jerry's begun working on this, and he's ready to pass it on to Dakota. They worked on it for the better part of 2024, and Dakota will take on the torch forward for us in our waste department. Jay Holland worked diligently on the Gateway West project, which was completed in 2024. The efficiency of our public works crews kept the city's financial contribution very low, only $92,500 for the project that from us that cost over $460,000 total. Jay is continuing to work on the engineering and the design of the Island Avenue utility and street improvement project, including orderly installation of new gas, sanitary, storm, and water lines from the north side of Island Avenue and from North Florida Street to Gate Street. The sanitary and water departments completed the installation of new utilities in the area, and a new sidewalk and driveway approaches will be constructed during the first half of the year, weather permitting. He was also continuing to work with Kelly, Ethan, Poteston Associates, Verco Contracting, Pro Contracting, and Trade Works on the construction of various water system and sanitary system improvement projects through the nearly $2.4 million ARPA or ARPA grant funding that we received as a city. Of the 5 projects that have been under contract in 2024, all have been completed except for Contract A, which is Jay's favorite, the Tennerton Booster Station building that we hear about at all of our utility operations meetings. The completed projects included the Taylor Street Sanitation Sewer Collection System installation project, which was the larger project I mentioned just recently, North Locust Street Sanitary Sewer Collection System installation project, Tennerton Booster Station building, the new booster station building, and then the new distribution system from the building, and then the purchase of new water equipment and new water treatment plant projects. Finally, in Jay's report, listing a few more line items to be completed include Jay providing engineering and surveying services required for the new sidewalk and lighting project along Morton Avenue from Route 20 to 1st Street, which will be approximately about 2,400 linear feet. The total design fees associated with this project are $75,000, of which the city is only responsible for $15,000 thanks to the DOH partnership grant. He also worked with both the Buckhannon Upshur Airport Authority and the water department to install a permanent generator and an automatic transfer switch at the airport booster station so that a reliable source of backup emergency power is available. The airport authority is dedicating a piece of property to the water department for the generator installation while the water department is purchasing the new automatic transfer and performing the site and electrical work that's required. That concludes the department reports. Now we go on to my pontification. In addition to the department heads listed above, Finance Director Amby Jenkins is truly an invaluable resource to our city. This might sound the same as it did last year because nothing has changed. She is in the building before the sun comes up and doesn't leave until long after the sun goes down. Oh, and did I mention that I'm not talking about the sun rises and sets in the winter months where we're sitting right now. I would be talking the same if we were in the midsummer months when the sun rises before 6 a.m. and sets after 9 p.m. She has dedicated her life to the betterment of this organization, and we will never be able to thank her enough for her service. Amby and the team inside City Hall make it possible for all of our skilled labor departments to function properly, all in an effort for our citizens and business owners and visitors, all to improve their lives. City Attorney Tom O'Neill, Stockard Youth Center Director Deborah Brockelman and Building Code Enforcement Officer Vincent Smith all play integral roles in taking our projects from discussions to finished products, and we thank them very much for everything that they do. As you can see, once again, we have been extremely busy, but we wouldn't want it any other way. This team, I referenced above, includes more than 100 men and women who come to work here every day, all for one goal: to best serve this community. Our City Council is extremely proud of and thankful for each one of you. We sincerely thank you all of you, for everything that you do. You make us the city that we are and the city that we want to be. Over this next year, we have our work cut out for us, in the street department especially. We've already begun a much-needed streetscape project to beautify sections of Ritchie Street, but once completed, we'll be moving to South Kanawha, Fayette, and Buckhannon Streets, as well as completing the infrastructure improvements on Shawnee Drive. We also have several miles of paving work that needs completed on Rigger Avenue, Wood, and Randolph Streets, just to name a few. So, members of City Council, if you're still with us, ready? As we work on our 2025 and 2026 general fund budget, I ask that we continue to prioritize robust investments into our infrastructure improvements. Our citizens and business owners deserve the attention to detail of our streets and sidewalks. We are only as smooth as our bumpiest street. Finally tonight, as leaders of this city, as well as citizens and business owners, you need to pay attention to this. We have to stay informed and engaged in the discussions that are taking place at the state capitol. The future of this community depends on it. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm extremely concerned about our hospital. Currently, West Virginia has something called a certificate of need process that healthcare providers must follow when they wish to embark on a facility or a service offering expansion. This legislation acts as a checks and balances system, and it is fair to all hospitals regardless of size or location. This certificate of need process is protecting rural hospitals like ours. This must remain. If it is repealed, St. Joseph's Hospital, as we know it today, very well could cease to exist. There is an out-of-state lobbying group, as well as outspoken in-state representatives that want this legislation abolished. Myself, along with hospital leadership, both here and at WVU, as well as fellow hospital board members, have been fighting hard for several years at the state capitol, urging our representatives in both houses to keep the certificate of need alive. This year, even though the 2025 legislative session has not even officially begun, we are already seeing more opposition than ever. So what does this mean? What do we do as a community? Well, we write letters, we make phone calls, and if we're able, we travel to the state capitol to meet with our representatives face to face. Not only is St. Joseph's Hospital the largest private employer in Upshur County, but it also provides critical access to health care in our region. We cannot afford to lose our now more than 100-year-old hospital. Please understand, the intention of this message is not to scare anyone, but is intended to provide information and a call to action for our community. At the present time, our hospital is doing great. Skip Yolberg is a fantastic CEO, and his team is dedicated to the well-being of not just the hospital itself, but most importantly, to the total health of everyone it serves. Our mission is to make sure that we are all doing our part to ensure that, this should sound familiar, the right care stays right here close to home. So in closing, try to end on a positive note. I want to say that I'm proud of my colleagues at City Council. Each one of you brings a wealth of knowledge and a unique perspective to the table. I appreciate your friendship, guidance, discussions, and even our disagreements. Our community is a better place because of the conversations that we have here and the diverse opinions and backgrounds that guide us forward. So tonight, to the citizens and business owners of this community, I'm reporting to you that the state of our city is strong. With the right decisions and a strong heart and dedication, we continue to be well positioned for the future. Let the world have no doubt that we are one of the very best small towns in America. I want you to know that it is truly my honor to serve you as mayor of my hometown. And I cannot thank each one of you enough for your support, your love, your encouragement, your guidance, advice, and prayers most importantly. So let's bring on 2025. We have a lot of work to do, but we're in good shape. May God continue to bless the city of Buckhannon, the great state of West Virginia, and the United States. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I always like it when that's out of the way. All right, thank you for indulging in our annual State of the City address. I will provide that to you, both media representatives via email, okay? Okay, let's look at the agenda. We need to approve the previous meeting minutes, which were all the way back on 1/16/2025. You were provided a copy. If you've had a chance to read them, would you please motion to approve those as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rigger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Giuliani. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, that motion carries. Hold on. Okay. On the back, you have your report of your correspondence and information, as well as upcoming events at the Event Center of Bushy Fork. Under the reports of correspondence and information, you have the Zoning Board of Appeals Memorandum Decision 117 Buckhannon Street. We have a FOIA request from Global Zoning about records at 293 North Locust Street for building and zoning permits. FOIA request from American Transparency, records request for the City of Buckhannon Employee Records 2024 gross annual wages. FOIA request from Intertrek, records request at 64 East Main Street environmental site assessment. And finally, a FOIA request from the SBA Communications records request for cell phone tower zoning applications. The City Council meeting date for the 6th of March, please be reminded, has been rescheduled to Tuesday, March 4th. This is to allow us to attend without conflict the Buckhannon Upshur Chamber of Commerce annual awards dinner. We have a notice of advertisement of human resources management position. We have a notice of advertisement of information technology position. And then we had some flooding over the weekend, and we've had some flooding all going on for us right now this evening. River came up a little bit. I believe the crest is going to be about 24 feet tonight, whereas it was pretty close to 26 feet over the weekend. Upcoming events at the Event Center at Bushy Fork, February the 8th, Buckhannon Police Department probationary police officer testing. The 14th, WVU Medicine, St. Joseph's Hospital blood drive. February 15th, Upshur County Livestock Association Elimination Dinner. March 6th, Buckhannon Upshur Chamber of Commerce Annual Dinner. March 22nd, Central West Virginia Friends of the NRA Elimination Dinner. April 12th, the Seth Project Gala. And then April 26th, Buckhannon Upshur High School Prom. Hard to believe we're already talking about spring stuff. So, all right, so that's your list. We are now down to...
Let me question something real quick. Is the Shriners not going to be up there this year?
What's that?
The Shriners?
Yeah, it didn't make the list this time, but it will the
Oh,
next time.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Shriners will be there, I believe, I think it's the 16th of April. I just missed putting that on.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
All right. Rhett Dusenberry wishes to address the council this evening.
Good evening.
Would you come to the microphone, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor, council persons, distinguished guests. My name's Rhett Dusenberry. Some of you know me and some of you do not. I am a district representative for now Congressman Riley Moore of the West Virginia 2nd Congressional District. It's my honor and pleasure to be assigned to Upshur County and the great city of Buckhannon. I thoroughly enjoyed your speech, Mr. Mayor, and that speech right there, if I heard that online, I would be preparing to move to Buckhannon. But I am fortunate enough to where I've met so many wonderful people here and also have been able to serve the citizens that I feel honored that I'll be back here for Congressman Moore. We are getting settled in our new office. As you know, he is a freshman congressman, and that has things going a little slower than usual because there's so many other folks that are getting back into office and everything else. And so, but we are here to be accessible. All my information is with Teresa. If you need to get in touch with me, I'm waiting on my cards to arrive on my doorstep from FedEx, as you can imagine. But Randy also knows how to get in touch with me, and so does Mayor Skinner. But the congressman's always ready to assist any way, shape, or form that he possibly can. The grant windows will be opening up, so we will be attending to that as well. But thank you for allowing me just to basically introduce myself on behalf of Congressman Moore, and he's looking forward to serving the 2nd Congressional District. He's doing a wonderful job already. He was, out of 31 Republican Congress people elected, he was elected president of that incoming class, which makes him part of leadership. He will attend leadership with the Speaker, numerous committee chairs, and also he is on 2 subcommittees of the Appropriations Committee, which is a very big achievement for a freshman. So he has hit the ground running and is looking forward to doing great things for the state of West Virginia. So please feel free to contact our office any way, shape, or form that you need, casework, anything else that the office does do. And I'll be in around like a bad penny. Y'all see me. If it's not Create Buckhannon, I'm walking the sidewalks saying hello to everybody and stopping in to all the offices. But please feel free to contact me. If you have any questions, I'll be more happy to answer if I can.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Certainly appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. I look forward to working with and for y'all.
Don't forget about the critical need for the hospital.
Yeah, anything the congressman could help us with, we'd appreciate it.
Well, that issue,
It's at the state level right now,
Yes.
but there is a chance that this does go further.
yes, sir. I will definitely pass that on first thing in the morning. We have a staff meeting at 9 o'clock. I'll pass that on. But that has been on the radar previously and now with the new congressman as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and also just for your information, we're also watching the drought, the mines, and the list goes on, economic development. So, but please feel free to contact us if you need us.
Thank you.
And thank you for allowing me to be part of Buckhannon and also Upshur County.
Thank you.
I do feel like a citizen, even though I live in Randolph and Elkins. I love y'all very much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't believe we have anybody else signed up that wishes to address us under the public comment before we get to recognize guests. Okay, now we're down to recognize guests, and before we invite Wyatt up, I do want to, we have our representative that services our entire region, but is a friend to our city. We have James Connor here from Mon Power Company. He's just on a road cruise, stopping to see how we're doing, and so it's good to have a face to the company here with Mon Power. Mon Power does a good job for us, and we appreciate all the efforts that the crews do when storms roll around. And I know I've contacted you before when some things have gotten a little dicey, especially around Strawberry Festival, and you've had crews here very fast, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Under recognized guests, we welcome back from Student Senate over at Westland, Wyatt Burns. We haven't seen him for a while because of how the calendar fell, and Westland is in their winter break, but we welcome him back for a second semester. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm glad to be back. Yeah, like you said, the calendar kind of felt weird, and we finished up December real early, and we were finished up and sent home before the first city council meeting in December, and we didn't come back until after your guys' first meeting in January. So here we are now. Happy New Year. I haven't seen you since then. I'm excited to be back on campus now. We've started back on January the 12th, and we've been very busy despite the snow and cold weather and the recent high waters. However, we have not faltered and we have not missed class yet. We have not canceled any classes. We've not delayed anything. We've been kept going. Recent events on campus, we held a Special Olympic Athletes Prom in our community on January the 25th. This prom was led by Macy Menifee, but engaged several college and community volunteers. The college will also be supporting upcoming Special Olympic events like the Polar Plunge and the basketball tournament, both happening this weekend. I believe the Polar Plunge is on Saturday, and the basketball tournament will be on Sunday at the Rockefeller Center. Students will also be assisting with the Parish House's annual fundraiser dinner on February the 7th at First UMC. Student athletes will be celebrating Division II Day and their commitment to community engagement this month by packing treat bags and writing cards to Head Start students in the county. There has also been an increased demand for community service placement sites related to criminal justice and information technology fields. If anyone knows of education, nonprofit, or government-related opportunities that would be interested in a student volunteer for about five a week, especially within walking distance from the college, please reach out to either me or Jessica Vincent, and we will get you pointed in the right direction. You can think of anywhere that might need a student help. But that's all I have for right now. We haven't been here for long, so there hasn't been much happening. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to answer.
They've been too busy in class.
I know.
They haven't canceled anything.
I know.
Are you gonna do the polar bear plunge yourself?
I am not. I'm not. I already have to work on Saturday, so I won't be able to make it back. But maybe next year. Maybe catch me next year.
There you go. There you go.
Just so everyone else knows, what were the times for the events this weekend?
I'm not certain off the top of my head.
Well, the Polar Plunge runs throughout the morning. Plunge itself, do you guys remember when the plunge is, 12:31?
I think maybe about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I think
Registration.
if I remember right, registration starts at 12:30 and then the plunge is at 1 o'clock.
Right.
And those of us who are doing the polar bear plunge are always looking for donations for Special Olympics.
Yes.
So,
Yep, come out. Even if you cannot make it to the plunge, feel free to donate and support our Special Olympic athletes.
Very good.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
have a good day, Watt. Good evening.
Council, I'd like to ask, we typically don't see these at this meeting. Consolidated typically handles them, but this request came in when Consolidated could not accommodate it because the event will have taken place after the meeting, or before the meeting. We have Aaron Perry here, a representative from the Scouts. You have under new business an event request from the Mountaineer Area Council Scouting Food Drive. The information is in your packet for the event request. It is on 2/15/25 and 2/22/25 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it is, they did provide the certificate of insurance that we require. There's maps in here as well. You see listed streets: East Lincoln, 3rd Avenue, Central Avenue, Arnold Avenue, Elm Street, Elizabeth, Victoria, Hart, and College. So the event request is pretty thorough. If you have any questions, Erin is here to answer those. But in the interest of her time, I'd ask that we go ahead and bring this to the table to ask for approval of that event a little bit out of order.
Anyone have any questions? If not, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Sanders. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Zuliani. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. All good?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Go back through the agenda now. We now will ask Mrs. Jenkins, and she has arrived, to provide us with the financial report.
Good evening. Okay, I'm going to give you your balances for general fund and some of the boards that I generally do with this first meeting of each month. Balances January 2025 general fund money market and checking is $946,000. A CD at $86,000. Historic landmark savings is at $3,000. Coal tax is at $67,000. Municipal stabilization fund, $924,000. The flood control project account is $78,000. Consolidated Public Works Board, $114,000 with cemetery CD at $235,000. Sales taxes at $1,397,000. American Rescue Plan account is $176,000. The opioid account's $151,000. And then for revenues and expenditures for the general fund, revenues were at $436,000. Expenditures were at $696,000. Your bills to be approved are listed in your packet. The ones I'm going to point out to you that are not commonly paid every month or regularly paid for things we do. We expensed $25,000 to the West Virginia Strawberry Festival. That was the fiscal year 24-25 budget when they, that was built in the budget for the 24-25 budget. $10,000 went to create Buckhannon. That was approved through the Revenue Review Committee last year when we built this budget, so we expensed that to them for the 24-25 budget. Motorola Solutions, $6,785. Video manager for the car and body cameras for the police department. $3,600 was expensed to Casey Earls for Stalker Youth Center basketball t-shirts. Basketball is been very active for the month of January. $5,039 to Mountain State Electric. This is for the FEMA generator grant, one of the FEMA generator grants. It was from Madison Street security fence and to replace that per the scope of the request. Mountain State Electrical again, $34,096. Again, this is a generator grant for the 6-foot security fence at the public safety complex. So those are the ones that are worth pointing out to you. I also want to report that Stalker Youth Center gave me their activities for the month of January. 3,224 attendees for all the activities that were in that month. Again, most of that I think was basketball. It looked like basketball attendance. The Colonial Arts Center Board authorized the use of the CAC building once a month. This is for to allow local musicians with original music to play once a month, and the admission would be free to the public. This is to help and get an activity out that isn't normally opportunity for some people to first of all, those bands to participate, and then they can have guests in, and so the CAC board is hosting that. We're going to do this for 3 months and then see how that works out, and then they may continue that. Speaking of St. Joe's, they also, the CAC board, the Colonial Arts Center board also approved the BU Middle School Theater Club to have a performance in there in April, and the high school jazz band to have a performance in there. So St. Joe's contributes to the community. We talked about that, and they do contribute to the community for education and enrichment of culture in Buckhannon. And their funds would go towards tech people that might have to work that night, or anything that they need to put on those performances. Generally, they do their own little fundraiser, but I just wanted to point that out too, that they do contribute to the community.
I do want to mention too, I'm a member of the CAC board, and while the CAC is hosting those first initial local talent nights per month, some businesses have already stepped up and said they'd be willing to sponsor serve as a sponsor-free show. It'll be a relatively low sponsorship and attractive sponsorship. We want to pay the bands, you know, a respectable fee to be there, cover our technicians' costs again and so forth. But I've learned something I didn't know. Bryce O'Loughlin presented this to us as a board. He had covers of 25 albums that have been published and released that touched Buckhannon in one way or another. Musicians were on the album, you know, played on the albums, or the albums were actually featuring Buckhannon residents. So we have a lot of untapped talent here, and this will be an opportunity to both get that talent some recognition and get the CAC some more visibility. So I think it's a good move.
And that's all I had to report.
Okay. Any questions for Amby? All right. Thank you. I would ask, since Amby did go over the bills with us at this time, is there a motion to approve the payment of our bills?
So moved.
Motion by Scott, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rob. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, that motion carries unanimously. Our new Public Works Director, who's been here quite a bit, but he's been in somewhat of an apprenticeship with Jerry, and now he is our full-blown Public Works Director. So,
Myself now.
You look taller all of a sudden.
Or some platform shoes. So the street department spent this week cleaning up some after the flooding this weekend. Looks like we're going to be doing that some tomorrow around the Jawbone Park area. With the weather turning a little bit better, we've continued working on the Jawbone Park stage and Island Avenue sidewalk projects, and we have removed the Christmas decorations finally after a cold spell that made that difficult. The waste department has submitted the solid waste facility permit renewal with the NPDS modification to the West Virginia DEP. We finally got the new garbage truck, and it is prepared to go into service. We received the title for it and have been dealing with some sickness in the department, trying to keep all the routes running. Sewer, we had some issues at one of our main pump stations on Elias Street this weekend. With the pumps going out. Talk about that more whenever introduce some of the new superintendents. And had a sinkhole on Cleveland Avenue form from all the wet weather, opened up, and it has been repaired. Been working on some surface restoration along the Lower Drive project to finish it up, and began work on the CMH development along Vicksburg Road. And we did have Tim Wilson receive his Class 2 plane operator license. And with water, they've been working on continuing to implement the iWork software along with the rest of Public Works. Water is moving well on that. They also have some issues with intake and have been dealing with several leaks. And I have some more details on the rest of this for the next item.
okay. I do want to point out too, it was mentioned in our water board meeting. We're often calling upon our neighbors, and our neighbors call upon us for different things. Whereas we typically utilize the generosity of the city of Elkins and for their fire department when we need some help. The city of Elkins called upon us for their water issues that they've had over the past few weeks. It was our guys and our tools and equipment that ultimately helped them clamp that big leak shut, the geyser that took place over on High Street near Boundary Avenue over there. So I want to thank our water department, for going over and being good neighbors and getting there quickly. And we really, in a lot of ways, we need each other. These small towns they're too much alike to not work together. So I appreciate the city of Elkins and all that they do for us, and I know they appreciate us. Jerry Marco wanted to make sure that I mentioned this evening that he extends his sincere thanks to our water department for, their quick response and help with that pretty big issue over there. So.
And I'll mention too, there's no engineering report. Jay is out with COVID this week, so have an update next meeting with that.
Saw that was a little light.
Quickest one I've had.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Has to do with the water situation. When is the decision made to get the horses and set up? I mean, I noticed coming up here, like at 5 to 7, there was one down on the other end of Madison, but there was none up on this end.
Yeah.
And down by Wendy's, there was none there, period. And pretty dark down there, so I know people's got to use their own common sense, but we saw what happened
Yeah.
last. So when is that
We
decided?
try and
Who
keep
takes
an eye
care
on
of
it and watch the river level. Once that river gets up to a certain level, we know that it's going to start to come back into Jawbone Park. This rain caught us by a bit of a surprise. It wasn't calling for this much flooding and raining during this event. The last one, I think we had the solid horses up pretty well, but we try and watch the weather. That's the decision in the river level. So if we know it's going to be wet out, we keep them out. I know that they were all out whenever I came here this evening.
So do you personally go do this, or does the fire department, or who goes and does this?
Usually the street department does it. I believe the fire department has helped out with that sometimes, but yes, the street department typically
Like I
handles
said, I
it.
noticed that when I came a while ago, so. And I'm sure there's gonna be some complaining on Facebook. Already saw. Thank you.
Anything else? You may proceed.
Okay. So as the mayor already mentioned.
I know, I stole your thunder. I'm very sorry, but
Beat me to it, but I'll mention a little bit about each of them further. So I'll start with Cody. He has been with the sewer department for 11 years. He began as a pipe layer, moved into the mapping and procurement position in the sewer department, and then for the last couple of years he has been the assistant superintendent in the department. He has his Class 3 wastewater license. He's able to operate the plant. We are a Class 3 plant and a Class A CDL license. And as I'll mention, for all three of them, it was a tough first weekend. I know that the pump station, that was a big deal. We've never had two pumps go out in a pump station like that at once. Cody came up with the idea to get a diver to go down and pull them out, which is not an easy profession to find, but Cody did a good job handling that. We had the sinkhole on Cleveland Avenue, which was a big issue. And anytime there's high water, the sewer plant is difficult to operate, but I believe he's done a good job this first week, and I'm hoping he hasn't changed his mind. Tommy has been with the water department for 23 years. He, like Cody, he also started in distribution, went to equipment operator, and then to crew chief. He's currently in the Class 2 course this week. He's got a test tomorrow to try and obtain that license. He is a journeyman electrician and has been a very big asset in that sense. And on Saturday night, I know that he told me he was out at about 2:30 at the raw water intake trying to get it opened up, and it was not closed completely, but they got it and did a good job opening it while having a couple of leaks at the same time. So I believe he's had a long week also, and trying to complete the class at the same time, it's not an easy week. And Dakota has been with the department for 10 years. He worked on the back of a garbage truck, moved into a mechanic role, and then about 3 years ago he became a route foreman and bounced back and forth between mechanic and that position. He has his Class A CDL license and is pursuing his hazmat. And as I mentioned earlier, he's probably had 3/4 of the department out at some point with the flu this week. We know about the snow issues and garbage collection earlier in the month. And I believe he's had about every truck we own in the garage this week trying to get it running. So they've had busy weeks, and I think they did well, and I appreciate it, and believe they'll do well in their positions. So.
We agree.
We appreciate it also.
Yeah, we agree.
Absolutely. Keep up
That's
the
all I
good
have
work.
for
Keep
that.
up the good work.
You have the, are you doing this?
if it's okay with you, I think, could we have maybe a little bit more discussion about the priority list?
But yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. Maybe we just, I want to talk to council a little bit about it too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. That's fine.
So we'll table that.
yeah.
I think Tommy has a test to study for tomorrow, so I'll let them go home and get it out.
Go study.
A long week, long days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome, thank you.
Welcome.
With all the trials and tribulations from the first little bit, I'm surprised they want to continue.
Right now, we don't have an option.
All right, Chief Kimball did text and say he's on his way, but we'll just go ahead and we'll move down and then we'll give him an opportunity to be here. And if not, by the time we get down to new business, I'll go ahead and give his report. So, Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. By way of report, I'll just update the council on kind of where we are on the property exchange. We've got the plats. I need Potesta to make a slight change to one of them. We're engaged with Wesleyan's new counsel. He's preparing the deed, and I think we are on track to get this wrapped up in the next couple of weeks. So to that end, I'd recommend that the council move ahead with finalizing the ordinance 469, which is on the agenda. If you're of a mind to, it's up for second reading, and I'd be happy to take any questions if there are any.
Is that a 2-reading ordinance or 3?
It is, and this is the second of 2 readings.
Yes, by all
And
means,
actually,
let's-
we'll fill in, once you vote on it, we'll fill in the correct dates on the version that's in your packet. But this is again, and again, just to remind the council, and I don't know what the ordinance numbers are, the council has already approved the ordinances in order to convey, well, it's already conveyed the Factory Street properties, but it's already approved the ordinance to receive the properties from Wesleyan. So once they are final and ready to go, we're ready to close this. Vacating these 3 alleys is the last piece of that puzzle.
I believe that was 463. That's right,
that's
right
right.
here.
I think that's right.
Do you have it before you, or do you want me to read it by
I have
caption?
469.
469.
I can read it.
Okay.
The council has before it ordinance number 469 of the city of Buckhannon, an ordinance vacating 3 certain alleys situate within the corporate limits of the city of Buckhannon. This is the second of 2 readings, and again, for the council's benefit, this is a portion of Silver Bells Lane, which is on one of the blocks down near the campus that the college owns all of the lots surrounding these paper alleys. And again, these are all paper alleys. They're not even open. I think Snow Goose may be the one where it's just a parking lot now, completely unusable. And then Stewart Lane as well.
Okay. Well, Council, you have heard the ordinance read to you on second and final reading. Doesn't appear that there's any questions or comments, so I entertain a motion that we approve ordinance 469, long awaited, on the second and final reading.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Zuliani, second by Mr. Sanders. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
My pleasure. Thank you all.
Thanks.
How many months has it been?
I think we should, yeah, I think we should start counting years. Yeah. To get this. Dave, I'm sneaking behind you.
Okay.
Oh, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
There you
I
go.
think this is everything.
If I smell like smoke, there's a reason.
Yeah.
How well it.
But not bad. Just a wall. Sorry for the delay.
Remember your glasses, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So,
Looks more like his brother when he wears
did
those.
anybody go over anything? Did you?
No, you're just in
My
time.
hands are still dripping with here. Okay, I'll try to be as brief as possible, but in your packet is the 2024 year-end response totals, and that includes for personnel also. And I also added in your packet a 23 comparison. So if you look at the 24, last year we had 51 fire incidents, and then you go to 23, 2023, we had 52. So pretty comparable. And as you go down that list, you know, rescue emergency medical calls was 650 this year, last year was 682. So I think at this point in time, over the last couple of years, we're pretty steady on, we're looking at 1,100 incidents a year. Unless something is moved in here that would add to that call volume, or a massive population would move in, or some big incident would happen, you know, a big storm or flooding where we'd have multiple incidents, would not add a whole lot to that. So you're looking at about 1,200 incidents a year on average. So any questions on the year-end stuff? Okay. Moving on to the Cooper Street analysis. So as per the accreditation process, after every fire or major incident, we evaluate our services. This was the second fire in the last couple of months we've had in the city where we were at minimum staffing of 2. It's different. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. It's different when there's 2 people on that fire engine than when there's 3. When we're at 3, we're full staffing at 2. So this fire went out. Randy had this. I didn't get a chance to get everybody a copy of it. I'll just read. The incident was dispatched at 16:57, which is 4:57:09. Engine 11 responded at 16:59:10 with 2 due to being minimum staffing. Engine 11 arrived within just a minute and a half, about a minute and 40 seconds. Scene size up was a working basement fire. The whole basement was involved. Ended up being an electrical fire. So there was, here we go again, somebody was living in a basement of a house. So we're seeing a lot of that now where grandparents are living on the main floors, grandchildren are living in basements where we don't really, in the past, have thought of people living. So we've talked about other addresses in town where that's happening. Myself, Unit 1150 responded by myself at 16:59, arrived on scene at 17:03 to assume Cooper Street Command. 1150 advised to alert the next department because it was a working fire, a heavy working fire, because we only had 2 people, which was going to bring, so it was us and Thomasville on initial alarm, which was going to bring Warren District. At 17:06:2020 or 22, an urgent call went out, which is typically something for a situation, and we're doing some work on our May Day. And May Day is typically when somebody is injured or trapped, being us. That urgent call went out, firefighter down, so here we are at 2 and myself, and they're in full all the way into a basement fire. So of course, your adrenaline goes up, you go around to find the hose line going into the basement, and your guys are screaming because they're getting electrocuted. So the power was still on in the house. There was a short with extension cords running into the basement. So that created, you know, electricity in the water. When the water hit the floor and the firemen lay down on the floor to fight the fire, it electrocutes them. So there you have it. So one of our firemen were transported to the hospital. One remained on scene and was checked out. That fireman has since returned to work. It pretty well just numbed his whole left side. I mean, you can imagine basically a 220 bolt hitting you. So that is not normal, but normally we don't have the type of fires we do now with people living in places with heaters and stuff in basements and stuff like that. So to say, you know, part of the accreditation process is our effective response force, which is key to putting the proper amount of people on the scene for all the safety factors, all of everything, and that's 15 people. It's still taking us 23 to 24 minutes to do that. And that's with, you know, mutual aid coming in here. You know, mutual aid, our second engine's arriving typically with 2 or 3 people at 7 minutes after I'm arriving, and I'm arriving after the first engine. So you're looking at over 10 minutes into the fire before the cavalry starts showing up afterwards. And then the next engine is going to be another, I mean, drive from Thomasville, 13 minutes. You know, so you're looking at 23 minutes before a mutual aid department arrives here in town. So I want to praise the mayor. I mean, as soon as I could relinquish command to somebody else, I left the scene, went to the hospital to check on our fireman, and just as I stepped out to call him, he was walking in the door. We got to care for our employees. You know, I hope, you know, if you all ever see that again, stop and check on us, because that could be a big event. Our employees are our biggest asset, and, you know, we got to show them that we care. So anytime you see that, you know, whether it's the police department, I don't care who it is, if it's work-related injury or something going on at home that you find out about, stop and check on them. I think that would mean a lot to our employees. So, moving off to any questions on the Cooper Street fire. We had an investigator, Tanner Smith, worked diligently with the fire marshal's office, which he is doing a great job of right now. It's great to have him in place to do that, because the fire marshal, they come in and we already have the information and all the materials collected. Tanner does that, and they love it because they don't have to start all over again. We've had the process in place for them. So, been working, I met with my 3 paid captains and my volunteer captain yesterday to go over budgetary stuff. We're going to be having our budgets here before long, as you all know. So we're working on that kind of stuff. Myself and our service scholars, I have 3 service scholars from Wesleyan, they're assisting me with our annual gap report, which I'll hopefully be able to present when I come to the next council meeting. We do have a firefighter opening. Our new fireman at he had some family issues and was reluctant to relocate. And he had some family issues at home. So he opted out and resigned from his position as a probationary firefighter. So we do have an opening. I'll be working with civil service here before long to check our list and see if we need to test. I'm kind of in limbo because we're waiting for legislature to appear again and see how the moratorium goes on the first due fire fee. So I'm not in a real huge hurry for that aspect, just to see what happens there. That should be this month. So, also I talked to Teresa the other day, and I know at one point in time we started requiring for people to apply for the City of Buckhannon Fire Department to have Firefighter 1. I'm going to ask council to review that process and get rid of it. Now with the training facility getting to the point where we can do our own burns and we have our own instructors, that's the process we want to go with. Even if we get somebody who has no training, we are capable of putting them in the place we want them to be. So we'd rather do that than get somebody who has some bad habits, I don't want to say bad habits, but have been trained somewhere else that they're not used to the way we do things. So the fire conference went very well. We had over 60 participants at the first day. We allowed free attendance from all the county departments. We had 20 members from 5 other departments, so basically 4 from each. We had 1 county fire department that did not attend. And on Sunday, we had a full class for Ramirez's May Day Mindset class out there. It was a good time. We had a blast. So we all went out Saturday night down to CJ's place, and we had a wonderful time, and everybody enjoyed the guys from Florida. Ramirez had never been in snow, and we could accommodate. Yeah, we accommodated him very well. So, and then getting back to the forms I have here in place for you all to look at on the agenda for the CPSC annual forms that we have to go through. The standards of coverage, this is something you all have seen each year. This is something that has to be done every year. You just have to approve the risk analysis, how we go about, that's how we come about our, if you look at this is the effective response forces for different types of fires. That's how we come up with the different levels and the positions that have to be filled to try to meet what the standard is. So that being said, I don't know if you're to that point, Mayor, to where we
can be, yep.
So the fire response standards are not changing because basically the response standards have not changed. So this is still initially Captain Joey Baxa had written this probably 5 years ago. It's still the same. The effective response forces are still the same for fires, low risk, medium risk, or moderate risk, and high risk. So I just need you all, you want to do them in a blanket, Mayor?
We can. I mean, they're all listed ABC underneath Chief Kimball's report.
Okay.
Accreditation in all 3, and if they haven't changed, which I would say that we could just approve them as line item 11. If no one has objection to that, I'd entertain a motion that we approve line item 11, A, B, and C together. Motion by Jack, is there a second? Second by Pam. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like so opposed, motion carries.
The only other thing I had, and Teresa put this in your all's packet the other day, this was from November last year to November, excuse me. It's 1 year of maintenance on vehicles. And it's $38,000 for our fleet to be maintained, just for fuel, oil changes, pump tests, stuff like that. So if you ever get a boring day that you want to sit around and read some stuff, more than happy to go over it with you. But other than that, if y'all don't have any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When we hire a new fireman, how much does it cost you to outfit a new fireman?
So we do not buy gear for a new fireman until they're on probation.
Okay.
So the young man that was just here, we had some extra overtime in that individual because he was attending an EMT course. But other than that, we had nothing in his gear. We do that for a reason. Just because some people take the job thinking it's they're going to be their career, and they get into it and go, I don't want to do it. And that happens.
So
But if I have to buy them boots, pants, coat, helmet, you're looking at about $4,500.
well, that's why I was going to ask you. You know, the police department have a 2-year
Yeah.
thing. They have to reimburse if they leave us in
Yes.
2 years. And
So
I
that's
think
to repay the academy.
Right.
So that's why we don't buy them gear,
Right.
just because we have extra gear that, but it may not fit them perfectly.
Right.
So once they get off probation and get their year in, then we purchase the gear, because then we know
Right.
chances are they're probably gonna be here for a few years. So our career members, usually 3 to 5 years, a set of gear will be tore apart. They're allowed to last 10 years, but 3 to 5 years, depending on what shift, how many fires they have. Questions?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry for the delay.
Oh, no, glad you're safe.
You're perfect timing, Gene.
All right, we are down to new business discussions, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but I need to ask you for a brief executive session following this meeting, even though it's not on the agenda, relative to personnel matters. So if you could please indulge us just for a few minutes after the council meeting. Okay, we're down to new business discussions, and we've got the approval of the building and wiring permits. Hopefully you've had a chance to review those that were sent to you via email. Is there a motion to approve those as presented?
So moved.
A motion by Scott, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rob. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like said, opposed. Motion carries. Okay, from the Consolidated Public Works Board, you all know that we have an ordinance that has been active in towing vehicles off the streets when we have major events like parades, namely. It is a safety issue, which is why we embarked on that first and foremost. If anytime a parade is lining up or anywhere along the parade route, the vehicles have to be off the street, otherwise they're towed. We've been running into some issues. The 911 center came to visit with us during Consolidated Public Works Board meeting most recently to share with us it's not working well with their rotation. So per state code, there is a tow company rotation. So if a wreck takes place right now, a tow company is dispatched to that scene and for that vehicle. An incident happens later in the night or tomorrow, it's the next tow company in rotation gets paged out. It's all to keep everything equal and fair, so that when you're at the top of the rotation and you get called out, then you move to the bottom of the rotation and you ride back up the ladder again. Because we've got sometimes 3, 4, 5 vehicles that need towed out of the Main Street area for one event, they're not really sure how to do it. And because they'll start to tow a vehicle, because it doesn't just happen like that, the owners of the vehicle will see it coming, they'll come out, they'll grab their vehicle, and they'll leave. That counts as a canceled call, and then the tow company doesn't get the work. They go back to the bottom of the rotation again and have to start up the ladder. So the Consolidated Public Works Board heard this discussion, and it seemed most pertinent to us, and we thought we would refer it to the council for final call. But we need to contract with a specific tow company for our events. And then when we do that, we can stage the tow company in the downtown area in a parking lot so that they're not coming from Rock Cave, they're not coming from French Creek, they're not coming from, Tolmansville, they're not coming, they're right down here in town ready to take care of the issue at hand. And that way we're also respectful of the tow company's time. If they're getting a crew together because they're getting called out and they're coming down here from Rock Cave only to be canceled, that's time and wear and tear on their vehicles that they wouldn't have to put forth. So that's the thought process behind it. Per state code, we can do that. We can circumvent, I don't know if that's the right word, but we can bypass, because we're having a special event, the typical rotation. This would not take that particular tow company out of any rotation. If there was a wreck, say in 3 days, and they were 2 or 3 from the top anyway, they could still go to that wreck. Even if they were first on the rotation, they could go to the wreck. It just means that we are dedicating a towing company to an event, and we can review those contracts as much as we want to. We can say this contract is good for this calendar year or this fiscal year or for this row of events, and then we could look at it again. If we're satisfied, we could continue operating with that tow company. But that's the discussion that was had.
Was there any discussion on majority of business? The majority is probably from police towings that these tow companies are in a rotation with, how they make their money.
For events or for just in general?
Overall, their whole year.
Well,
what percentage is the special events?
The rotation's for emergencies. So like if there's a wreck on the 4-lane and they need a tow company, 911 dispatches them to the scene.
So that's probably the majority, police-related or emergencies.
Right.
Correct.
The parade is not an emergency.
Right.
So that's how the state code doesn't fall over that, because we're planning on cars that need to be towed.
Right.
Yeah.
But definitely a benefit to having someone staged is, are we, the others that are in rotation, is this enough business that they're going to, where it's going to be an issue that way?
They want this.
Yeah.
They want this because this is creating wrinkles in the current system that's set up.
Well, some of the tow companies are refusing to respond. Period. To parade. That was the thing. That's the problem. They're saying we pass. They're just saying we pass. We don't want to be considered because
If those two things are satisfied, then I'm for it.
So if we're contracting out, are we responsible to pay anybody anything?
No, it remains the towing at owner's expense the way it is now.
Okay.
No money's being exchanged from the city to the tow companies. All we're doing is engaging in a strategic partnership to say, we have this event coming, you're gonna be downtown ready because we know we're gonna have a car or two that's gonna need towed.
But that's what I'm saying. So they're gonna come here and basically sit maybe 8 to 10 hours and for
No, it's
free.
not that long.
Well, but
2 or 3 hours.
I'm just saying,
It's only,
well, we're going to put a request for proposals. Maybe nobody gives us proposal.
Okay.
it's
We're not going to force them to do it.
It's really they would only be sitting down here maybe an hour because we close the street usually about an hour before the event starts. Once the street's closed, they can go to work and get anybody off the street they need to.
Okay. I just think an hour's not gonna be long enough time, but,
Oh, no, I think,
That's what we do now, and they're coming from Rock Cave, so.
okay.
When we had, for example, we had the Veterans Day Parade, and, we closed, the Veterans Day Parade started at, I think, 9 o'clock this year. We closed the street at 8, and we were able to get everybody off the street there, so.
Yeah, it's been working for the most part. There's been 2 or 3, and they come running out of a restaurant or something going, oh, I forgot, you know.
Yeah.
But
And it started out fine, but as we've gone along, the tow companies have realized what's going on with people canceling, and so they're kind of stopping and saying, wait a minute, this rotation isn't working. So Kimbra from the 911 center, they facilitated conversations with the tow companies. They then brought the concern here, and she said this is what they want. They want there to be a system like this in place.
And I'll mention this every opportunity I can. There's a purpose for clearing those parked cars. You know, even though we're a small town, I don't want us to get complacent and think everybody's hunky-dory. Takes one bad actor, one person who specifically leaves their car there to make the national news that in the middle of the parade, you know, they fly out and they start hitting participants in the parade, or God forbid a bomb is in there or something. I know that people may go, it's never going to happen in Buckhannon, but I'm sure all these other communities where it has happened, somebody there said it would never happen in their community. So I think it's...
Right, it is about safety first and foremost, of our participants, of our citizens, the spectators. We want to make sure that that everybody can participate and watch a parade safely.
Some communities put a boot on the vehicle.
Well, we got to get the vehicle out of there.
If they're not out by a certain time, you get the boot on, and then, you know.
We do boot vehicles, but that's a different situation. That's if they haven't paid parking tickets.
Well, I'll move us along by making a motion to prepare requests for proposals for this specific reason.
Okay, so there's a motion by Mr. Sanders accept the recommendation from the Consolidated Public Works Board that we enter into a contractual engagement and we accept proposals from potential tow companies to work with for special events.
I'll second it.
As a second by Mr. Thomas. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. That motion carries. Chief Gregory called me this week. He asked if we could have the discussion about the peer liaison to use City of Buckhannon vehicle during his time, which will be next meeting. I told him I didn't have a problem with that. I'd have to ask the council, since the agenda was already printed, if we could table that to the next council meeting. Are you all okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. He has additional information he wants to provide.
You want a
So
motion to the table or just table?
we don't need one. Robert's rules don't require a motion to table. So we'll just have the minutes notate that is tabled until the next council meeting. All right. Has everyone had a chance to review this document? It is in small print. Barb must be able to see real well. This is the, we've talked about the classification system of payments, or of salary payments to our outside employees. This is our inside City Hall employees. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at this? This looks really good. This is much needed for our City Hall staff. And I want to make it clear that if we approve this, we're approving this system, but we're only approving our general fund portion of this. This morning at Waste Board, they already approved the Waste Board employees at our transfer station and the waste portion of this here. So we have to make sure that we keep everything separate because we've got enterprise boards. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So if you have had a chance to look at it, I entertain a motion that we implement the proposed City Hall employee classification system, which does include the wage increases that you see before you, and also it affects the employees that are paid through the general fund.
I'll make that motion.
There's a motion by Pam. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rob. Any further discussion on this? Hearing.
I would ask Amby how she feels about it.
Well, Amby was helping us prepare it.
Does she have any comments about it?
Well, go ahead, Amy.
I don't really have too many comments about it. I think I discussed it with you, Mr. Thomas, and it's much needed. We putting in job descriptions and classifications to those jobs it's always been kind of a known, but not a written known, so that it makes it clear to the employees what's expected of them, and when they succeed, they are rewarded by that. So,
So you're very comfortable with it?
yes.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay, next line item. Per the executive session that we had last meeting, following last meeting, if you recall, we had a discussion about this line item, and then we're ready to bring it to the table for official vote. As you are well aware, the city of Buckhannon took over the management of the event center at Bushy Fork back in April of 2023. At that time, we asked our fellow council member, Mr. Sanders, to be the city representative to oversee it, given his experience and expertise. He accepted that, and even though we have had a manager during that time, Randy really and truly still oversaw the operations of and the whereabouts of that facility, and who was coming and going out to let people in and getting events ready and then tearing them down afterwards. So now, we've talked about where do we go from here. Randy's been really working at this very diligently for the past few months, and treating it as though it's a full-time position. And he's willing to continue to serve the city as a city representative in that role, to manage the day-to-day operations of the center for at least a year from now, to give us a chance to really review and properly see how the conference and event center's potential, how it turns out for us. He is, I think, very generous in that offer. I would like to see us pay. Of course, we don't have to pay benefits for this because we as council members do not receive benefits. I'd like to say that we should offer to pay him $25,000 a year, retroactive to January 1, 2025, to be our event center manager.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Thomas, there's a second by Mrs. Bucklew. The only discussion I will offer, this is just for the press and the public's sake and understanding, this is not uncommon, that council members would have other positions within the city to help us run our operations. A former city recorder of ours, Rich Clemens, also was the city's zoning and code enforcement officer. And so he received a salary for that, and then he received a salary for his work as city recorder. So this is a separate offer of $25,000. This does not change the fact that Randy makes $15,000 a year as city recorder. This is not a city recorder tied position. This is Randy's position because he possesses the skill sets necessary to do this position well. So that's the spiel on it, and we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion.
I abstain.
Yes, thank you. Motion carries. Okay. G, we have a recommendation from the Planning Commission to explore a comprehensive sidewalk program to expand pedestrian traffic inside the city limits and additional mapping to be considered for these purposes. Do you want to talk?
Well, I attended that meeting as a city recorder, and this is something that that the board feels that we should explore. Again, the key word there is explore sidewalk programs. There's a concern that pedestrian traffic needs more attention, and they're just asking, based off of the comprehensive plan of 2025, and I think that was one of the elements, and I believe some of that appears in packet. But they're just asking council to dig into it and to see, what can be expanded to what we already have in place. I know that there was also, and well, that's H, we get the non-vehicular. But again, this is a body that doesn't make decisions or implement policy, the planning commission. But the planning commission itself does bring forth unique ideas that can help modernize our city and help our citizens in our city. And they just feel strongly that this is something now that's time for the city to consider and explore. So perhaps, Mayor, we can begin discussions on this. We can maybe, if you want to point a couple of folks or something or whatever, just to dig into it. Of course, we've got to utilize our city engineer, on some of this.
Are there areas that they're concerned about, Randy?
No, that's something that those are questions we can take back to the.
Well, I think clearly so, if it was a discussion point. I mean, I know, I've got 5 or 6 that I know of that are big concerns.
There's some areas that just aren't, we don't have the sidewalks, continuing on. Obviously, we've been very consciously working on our ADA component throughout the city, but it's just something they recognize the fact that the city has been investing in sidewalk work and new sidewalks, but they want us to consider all elements of the pedestrian.
So this is part of why I wanted to, when Ethan was up, to talk about not taking full action on the 2025 spring paving projects priority list, because sometimes these sidewalks go hand in hand with the streets, depending on the physical makeup of the area. So I don't know that either G or H is something we need to officially take action on tonight. I think what we need to do is look at integrating some areas of concern with some of our street paving possibilities, because there's a couple of areas where those do coincide. So before we get to our budget session here coming up very soon, I'd like us to have some ideas, because we will hear from all of our department heads, as we all know. We'll sit down with them, we'll have some one-on-ones, or one-on-sevens, I should say, and we'll, I think at that time we can guide our priority list, moving it forward.
So you're looking for a plan, basically.
Yeah, and so I don't think it requires action tonight. I think we have a time to get our plan together for the budget session so that we can properly know where we want to go and what it's going to cost to get us there.
I would recommend us at least saying council expressed a favorable interest in it.
Sure, yeah.
If council agrees with that, so that the planning commission, feels positive about moving forward. And then I would also challenge them to step up and give us their concerns specifically. See if they parallel with your concerns as mayor and concerns that some of us have for non-pedestrian or for pedestrian traffic.
We could invite the leader of the planning commission to come to that budget session too, just to participate. That they're obviously not a voting member for this, correct, but they could provide some insight as well.
Curtis Wilkerson is the current president of the planning commission.
Well, I think it'd also be helpful for the media, the papers, to put out the notes from this meeting, and also put on a website that we would ask our citizens to make observations and suggestions, and to send them to the planning commission people. I mean, not just have the planning people look at it, but have the whole community look at it.
Yep.
Like a suggestion box or something.
So we all are supportive of this endeavor, correct? I mean, and I think we have an opportunity to make a good plan for how we want to start working on the sidewalks and the streets in our community. So I will say this before we go into council comments and remarks. We know there are potholes. We know.
Yeah. I've been hearing
we know.
And a sinkhole.
It's bad. We know. But I want to convey to everybody there is a time frame in which we can get this done, and now is not it, because we still have more winter to get through. The asphalt plants are not open. Anything we would patch with coal patch is just going to come right back open the minute we run the scraper over it. So we know we got issues. The weather's been rough. This has been a tumultuous January. We're not done with winter. We've got another cold blast coming in late next week. It could bring more snow to the region. So we know, we hear you. We're driving them too. We see them. But just have some patience. The weather's been bad. There's potholes everywhere. I-79's a mess. Morgantown's a mess. Clarksburg's a mess. We're all dealing with the same stuff. So we will get to them. Promise, pinky swear. We have a priority list. We will get the potholes cleared, but we have to wait till the asphalt plant's open, and we got to wait till we get over some of this still nasty weather that's ahead. This is full spring, so we're not done yet. So just wanted to make sure everybody knows we're not ignoring it. So. Okay, council. Well, I wrap that up. I wrap that into the same thing.
Well, I mean, we didn't specifically say about non-vehicular lanes, and that's what.
Do you want to talk about non-vehicular lanes too?
I'll just mention that. These are for the bicyclists, and that's something as we move forward to this that the planning commission would like us to consider as well.
Discuss that with them when they come.
Yeah.
We developed at one point, not too long, well, probably 5 or 6 years ago, a couple of intercity biking routes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right.
That they tie into Jawbone, they kind of spur out from there. They have different mileages. So we can find that, and that could be part of the discussion too. So, yeah.
When I go back with them, I'll let them know that both pedestrian and the non-vehicular lanes will be considered, and we'll explore that and ask for their input. So, okay, thanks.
Okay, council comments and announcements. We'll begin over here with Scott.
Just wanted to mainly say thank you to our new heads. Seeing their interactions between each other, the respect they have for each other, and that leadership was very comforting to me. I felt very confident prior and as we were hiring those folks as well. I think we're in good hands, and them also getting hit with some pretty serious tests their first weekend was it's good to see them here and smiling and laughing about it. So thanks and congratulations to them. Folks, I'll echo your weather sentiment. Folks, please take your time, especially at night with this cold weather and unpredictable water. Saturday, come out, the Polar Plunge, be trying to raise some money. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Pam?
People are asking me, when is the state going to start that widening project in by the court?
March.
March?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, will that include that thing that's starting to get the noise again by Subway, that grate, there's a hole starting in that?
They know about it. They worked on
But
it.
they would be working on that again,
Well,
hopefully?
I mean, Speedway,
That's
that drain.
Yeah, I mean, there's a hole starting beside it right now.
They've worked on it.
Yeah, they have worked on it, but
That's not us.
I know that, okay.
Okay.
Okay, also, we've got several city lights out, which, hopefully. Okay.
Okay, we need to, so the process for that is, Pam, to call City Hall and put that information into the Outwork system. Then that sends out a
So the individuals
notice.
that live near these places need to do
They can,
that?
they
need
can, or
to,
they can call us, but yes, they
Absolutely.
can.
I mean, and that's why I tell people when they start talking to me, if I put it on a Post-it note, it's not gonna do them a lot of good.
Right.
Good that you're reporting in here tonight. They'll know that there's an interest, that you've done that. But until it gets to the front office and they get it into the Outwork system and they determine if it's a Mon Power or if it's a City of Buckhannon situation, then that's not gonna help until it gets into that system. So
Okay, well,
encourage them to also
Everybody's
call City
listening
Hall.
to
We need the
them.
poll number.
Right.
There is a number on the poll.
Okay.
So,
Okay, another thing, he mentioned it, but Scott and Dave Thomas and I are doing the Polar Plunge. I don't know if anybody else is on here Saturday. Hopefully, it'll be done and over with. You never know, this water and the weather, but we're taking donations for support for the Special Olympics. Also.
Write a check to Special Olympics right
Yes,
now.
yes. Upshur County Special Olympics. Also, I started another downtown decorating committee, and I was pleased to have several people show up this time. And I'm having another meeting this Monday at 5:30 here at City Hall. I'd like to get anybody be interested coming and join. It'd be great. So
When is that again?
We got Monday at 5:30.
Monday at 5:30?
Here?
Yes, and we got some new faces on city council. Maybe they can get some spouses or somebody in their family to come and join or whatever. Appreciate that. That's all for now. And yeah, welcome to new superintendents.
Mr. Rigger.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for the State of the City address, and it was very compelling.
I'm glad.
I thought you needed that.
We'll get you a leather bound edition.
Pontificated, right?
Yeah, there was pontification
We'll get
in
you a
there, you're
leather bound
right.
edition, Jack.
We'll wait for the leather bound. And yeah, our new crew members, our new supervisors, and the new director, I mean, they have many more weeks like they've had the past 3 or 4 weeks. Their skins will be as thick as the state troopers. And so that's baptism by fire. And, but that's good, start out hard, it gets easier from now on, doesn't it? It's been that tough at the beginning. That's about all I have. Just glad that the fire department handled the fire tonight and everybody made it back well. Yeah, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Thomas.
I'll pontificate a little bit. I talked to Sue Pugh yesterday, and it appears that Ron Pugh had a mild heart attack. So I ask your prayers for a former city council person, and hopefully he'll have a speedy recovery. I want to say a few things from the standpoint of older people like me. I get 4 or 5 calls every day, it seems like, from a new deal with Mr. Thomas. They don't even call my name half the time. Hey, this is so-and-so, and I understand you're on Medicare A and B. Is that correct, sir? Is that correct? Well, don't ever say yes when you get that phone call, because the Medicare open session was ended, I think, December the 7th or 17th. There are so many scam calls out there. They want people to say yes on the phone. So if you don't know the person that's calling you, don't say yes ever on the phone. I've also received calls recently about the power company saying that you overpaid X amount of dollars. We're going to give you some checks, $50 for the next 3 months, plus we'll only charge you 35% for your power bill for the next year. If you're interested in this, please push so-and-so. So there's a lot of scams out there. Just be very careful. And I congratulate all the new superintendents and supervisors. I know you'll have a great issue with the city long-term. Very good. Not an issue, but you'll have an enjoyment. And I appreciate you all working. Thanks. That's it.
Thank you. Rob?
Just say I'm distraught that I'm gonna be out of town Saturday and can't participate in the polar plunge. Mr. Sanders is gonna go in my place.
That's why he's getting out of town.
We'll postpone it until you're available.
That's right.
Yes.
Randy, you're gonna do it?
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
An encore performance.
They have a high water date on Monday.
Is that what it is? I'll just go by myself. That's it.
Thank you,
Just write
sir.
that down. Yeah, distraught. I wrote it down.
And Pam's got costumes for it. Right, Pam?
Are you not done yet? Are you still commenting?
Yeah, no, shut up. I'll be quiet.
Randy?
Well, thank you for the confidence in naming me, again, official manager of the event center. We have a pretty robust schedule coming up already, and plan to start promoting it heavier and so on. Again, congratulations to our new department heads and to Ethan as the information coordinator. I get to work with those folks a lot too, and they are hitting the ground running. And Ethan is he has a great opportunity here. Now, I think the stars aligned really well, that as he comes in as the permanent Director of Public Works, he's building his team, basically, and that's good. So I think he's going to develop into even a stronger leader as he moves forward. And I'm so happy we were able to do what we did with the front office. They're really unsung heroes. You know, they take a lot of incoming. They take all these phone calls. And I'm always impressed with, when I walk in here, nobody's hanging out anywhere. Everybody's busy. I mean, they're really, really busy. So I'm glad that we're able to do something along those lines as well with them. I think we're in pretty good shape. Mayor, great State of the City address. I concur with everything you said. So, you know, here's to a good 2025. Catherine Norco's here from the library. Appreciate always seeing you here and your interest. And it's always good to see James Connor. I run into him at several meetings. And he keeps us informed. I'm telling you, you send those emails out when necessary, and we appreciate your help.
Yep. Thank you, sir. All right, well, I have spoken more than enough tonight, so reminder, I asked you for an executive session. I appreciate your letting me provide the State of the City address to you. I will email it to you. I don't know, it will be sometime tonight, but we got to get through the executive session first.
So move, executive
So,
session.
thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. We have a motion to adjourn at 8:45. Dave Thomas, I think, made it.
Into executive session, correct?
Yep. Well, we'll have to take a break to allow everybody to leave. So. All right, thanks, everybody.